October 13th, 2024, Tijeras, New Mexico. A quiet Sunday in a rural home turns into a nightmare. Adlai Mestre, age 24, stands outside, blood on his hands, a gun in his pocket. Inside the house, his parents, Bertha and Raymundo, his sister Brielle, and their dog lie dead, their bodies dragged to a ravine. The sole survivor was eldest daughter Nancy, who was not at home at that time. They rushed me, he tells police, his voice flat. On July 10th, 2025, a grand jury indicts him for murder. A community is shaken, haunted by one question. Why? This story dives into a family's destruction and a town's search for answers. Stay until the end. Truth is a heavy burden. October 13th, 2024, Young Road, Tijeras. A single-story ranch house sits nestled in the Sandia Mountains shadow. At 2:15 p.m., landlord Eduardo Garcia, a weathered rancher, hears gunshots. He tries to contact the Mestre family, Bertha, Raymundo, Brielle, but got no response. He honks his truck's horn, still nothing. Unease grips him. He dials 911. Deputies arrive, their body cams rolling. Adlai Mestre, age 24, steps out, hands raised, a Glock 19 and loaded magazine in his pocket. My family rushed me, he says, eyes distant. My family's trying to walk in my room, trying to hit my heart, and my dad had a knife, and my sister had a sledgehammer, and I killed them. Mestre continues to explain to the officers.
My family rushed me.
Rushed you where?
In my room.
What do you mean?
With a knife.
Come out here real quick then.
Yes, sir.
What are you talking about, dude? Yeah, do you have any weapons on you right now?
Yeah, I do.
Hold on, no, don't reach.
No, I do.
Go on, turn around.
Yes, sir.
You're just gonna tell me what's going on, okay?
So,
Give me a second.
My family's trying to walk in my room, and they're trying to hit my heart. And my dad had a knife, and my sister had a sledgehammer, and I killed him. And then I killed him.
Inside, blood stains the living room. A hammer and meat tenderizer, slick with crimson, lie near the door. 50 yards away from the house, in a rocky ravine, deputies find Bertha, age 51, Raymundo, age 46, Brielle, age 17, and their dog, all shot, some bludgeoned. Eduardo collapses, sobbing. They were good people. Tijeras, a town of 500, locks its doors. What unleashed this carnage? Bertha Huerta Conde, 51, was the heart of Tijeras. A nurse, she tended to neighbors, her smile easing their pain. Raymundo Mestre, 46, a mechanic, fixed cars at a shop, always offering discounts to struggling families. They were our backbone, a neighbor says. Brielle, 17, a high school junior, loved painting desert landscapes, dreaming of art school. Their dog, Luna, a rescue mutt, followed Brielle everywhere. The Mestres were tight-knit, hosting barbecues, helping Eduardo with ranch chores. Adlai, their eldest, was quieter, often tinkering in the garage. He seemed lost, Eduardo recalls, but Bertha always said he'd find his way. Their home was warm, filled with laughter, until that Sunday. Now, flowers pile up at their gate, a town's love for a family gone. Tijeras, a speck of 500 souls, thrives on trust. October 13th, 2024, breaks that trust. News of the Mestre murders spreads like wildfire. By dusk, police tape wraps the young roadhouse, deputies guarding the ravine. Social media buzzes. Over 30,000 likes on posts mourning the Mestres. At Tijeras Elementary, a vigil draws 200 candles glowing under pines. Bertha patched my kid's knee, a mother sobs. Schools close. Residents arm themselves, fearing a killer loose. Adlai's arrest leaks. His words, they rushed me, chilling the town. We helped them move in, a neighbor whispers. The ravine, once a hiking spot, now feels cursed. Tijeras prays, but fear lingers. Was Adlai alone in his darkness? Adlai Mestre, age 24, was an enigma. Once a bright student, he studied engineering at UNM, but dropped out in 2023. Jobless, he lived with his parents. He started behaving strangely in the house and showed signs of distress. Bertha urged him to seek help, but Adlai refused, growing distant. At some point, it became clear he had mental issues and was admitted to Haven Behavioral Hospital in southeast Albuquerque prior to the tragic event. Neighbors saw him pacing at night, muttering. He wasn't violent, Eduardo says, just off. In 2024, upon arrival, police noted his hands were covered in blood and he told them he had a gun. So they handcuffed him and retrieved a Glock 19 pistol from his pocket. The Glock 19 he used for the crime was legally registered to Bertha, Adlai's mother, for self-defense. His room, searched post-arrest, held notebooks with rants. The family's against me. Was it paranoia or something darker? Tijeras wondered what broke him. Police noted his hands were covered in blood and he told them he had a gun. So they handcuffed him and retrieved a Glock 19 pistol from his pocket. My family was trying to walk into my room and they were trying to hit my heart, and my dad had a knife and my sister had a sledgehammer, and then I killed them, he told deputies as he was handcuffed. But however, I found their bodies and their wounds were healed. Do you want me to show you? He asked the deputies. Shocked deputies took Mestre up on that offer, and he began to lead them down a dirt road away from the property. I shot him in the head, but then they're convulsing. They were biting their arms, he said. My dad rushed me. I hit him, and then my mom was like, you need to die. They were biting their arms, and there was like hot boiling shit on the ground. Is that normal? He asked the deputies again. One deputy asked if he used the gun they found in his pocket, and he said, yes, I used it on my dad, my mom, and my sister.
They're in the car, okay? They're over there, like, right. Okay.
Are they in the house?
No, she looks scary for them. They were biting their arms, and then there was like fucking hot boiling shit on the ground. Is that normal?
I think. Just kind of hang out.
That shit was fucking
Okay?
weird.
We have to figure some stuff out.
That shit was fucking weird. I don't know, is that trying to hurt my heart?
Did you use that gun at all?
I did.
You did? Against who?
My dad, my mom, and my sister. I don't know what the fuck they were doing.
As he led them closer to the bodies, he pleaded, please don't kill me, officer. They eventually came across the bodies in a ravine near the property, as shown on redacted body cam footage released by police. Did you see their corpses? They were foaming out of the mouth, but are they still convulsing back there? Can you find the bodies? Mestre asked when they returned. When told they did, he added, their wounds heal, though. Is that normal? That's not normal. They're like black out the mouth. Did you see that, grabbing his dog? Deputies searched the house and found blood smeared across the floors and stairs, shell casings, and evidence of alleged attempts to clean up the crime scene. The Glock 19, Bertha's gun, fired multiple rounds. The hammer and meat tenderizer suggest bludgeoning, blood matching the victims. Adlai's body cam confession is chilling. I shot Dad in the living room, Mom on the stairs. I don't know about Brielle. The ravine, 50 yards away, holds the bodies dragged through dirt. Eduardo tells police they were like family to me. Over 100 tips flood in, neighbors recalling Adlai's odd behavior. The dog, Luna, shot twice, breaks hearts. Was this a planned slaughter or a sudden snap? During the interrogation, Adlai seemed very much mentally unstable. He rambled about seismic waves and helping a woman pull coins out of her vagina and getting in a submarine. The seismic waves wouldn't stop. My family starts convulsing. Just lose my consciousness, he eventually said. I had to, he said. What did you have to do? The police interrogator asked. Mestre replied, I killed them.
When you say you had to, what did you have to do? Kill. Okay, you had to kill them? Okay. And they lost consciousness.
They lost consciousness, and I don't know what they do. They were driving back. They were like half an hour late. Eating bodies, he continued. They were grabbing dogs, and I had to shoot the dogs. Mestre said something sounds like Satan during the interrogation, but it wasn't clear what he was referring to. When asked if he had any mental health issues, he claimed, I'm cursed and my family's cursed. Write that down, then my family's all cursed. Police left him alone in the interrogation room without handcuffs for some time, and he was filmed having conversations with people who were not there. I just tried to kill you, he said at one point. He later begged for help from God and cried, Angel, unlock the door. Then in frustration, he punched the wall and realized it was hollow, leading him to bust a hole in it seconds later. He made a move to exit the building, but his escape plan failed as he was chased down almost immediately and detained. The community gasps. Eduardo, shaking, says he helped me fix fences. Social media posts hit 40,000 likes, demanding justice. Adlai's eyes, unblinking in custody, haunt Tijeras. Was this madness or malice? The case builds. The Glock 19, fired 10 times, matches wounds on Bertha, Raymundo, Brielle, and Luna. Blood on the hammer and meat tenderizer confirms bludgeoning. Adlai's fingerprints cover both. Drag marks lead to the ravine, 50 yards from the house. Eduardo's 911 call. Gunshots. No answer, sets the timeline. Social media posts show over 50,000 likes for justice for Mestres. The evidence is damning, but why? Tijeras demands answers. During Monday's presser on October 14th, BCSO Sheriff John Allen raised concerns about the extreme risk firearm protection orders, also known as the red flag gun law, and how it may have been helpful prior to the fatal shooting. There's a lot to unpack. We know that he went to Haven Behavioral Hospital, and he had no homicide or suicidal ideations. There's so much with the red flag law and competency that is involved, Allen stated during Monday's presser. If you want to get a mental health evaluation, even if you didn't have any homicidal or suicidal ideations, there needs to be some type of recognition in the system or notification of law enforcement that there are firearms in the house, Allen said.
There's a lot to unpack. We know that he went to Haven and that he had no homicidal or suicidal ideations. This is where I tell you there's so much of the red flag law and competency that's involved. We do know, and I'll give the specifics to you also for the firearm that was utilized. It was utilized but given to this family all legally. The problem that I'm having just with the preliminary information that I have is if you went to get a mental health evaluation, even if you didn't have any homicidal or suicidal ideations, there needs to be some type of recognition within the system or notification to law enforcement that there are firearms in this house. This is where the red flag law does come in and where it does fail us also to where it's civil.
It's tragic. I mean, you can have guns, you can legally own guns. But if you know somebody in your family might be having a mental health crisis or any type of a problem in terms of their mental health, it's just not a good time to have a firearm in the home, Viscolai told KOAT. If you have somebody in your home that is going through a tough time, it's time to have those guns taken someplace else. And we also need to do things like change the extremist protection order or law, red flag law, to make it easier. Now, what is this red flag law? The red flag law, also known as an extreme risk firearm protection order, allows law enforcement and prosecutors to petition the court to have one's firearms temporarily seized if deemed a credible threat to themselves or others. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham signed the legislation into law in 2020. Adlai Mestre was in April ruled mentally incompetent to stand trial by the court and sent to the New Mexico Behavioral Health Institute in Las Vegas for treatment. He was reassessed months later, and a judge declared him fit to stand trial, leading to his grand jury indictment on murder and other charges. July 10, 2025, Bernalillo County Courthouse. Adlai, in a gray suit, faces Judge Maria Dominguez in a bench trial. DA Sam Bregman opens. Adlai Mestre erased his family with cold precision. The Glock, hammer, amongst other evidences were presented, the Ravine photos silencing the room. Eduardo testifies, voice breaking. Bertha brought me soup when I was sick. Social media posts hit over 60,000 likes, raging at Adlai's blank stare. The town watches, torn. Was this a calculated act or a broken mind? Mestre was indicted on 3 counts of first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, extreme cruelty to animals, escaping from the custody of an officer, and criminal damage to property. A fundraiser collected tens of thousands of dollars in donations for Nancy Mestre, the sole survivor, and the Carrie Tingley Hospital Foundation created a scholarship fund in Brielle's name. Eduardo takes the stand, his hands trembling. They were my family, he says of the Mestres. Bertha's nursing saved his daughter's life. Raymundo fixed his truck for free. Brielle's art, displayed at Tijeras Library, drew crowds. Luna's barks echoed at barbecues. Vigils swell to 300 candles lining Young Road. Brielle had dreams. A teacher says tears falling. Social media posts show 70,000 likes for memorials. The Carrie Tingley Hospital Foundation, where Bertha volunteered, starts a scholarship in her name. Tijeras mourns, but anger grows. How could Adlai betray them? Adlai's attorney, Lisa Torres, admits the killings but pleads insanity. Adlai was delusional, she argues, citing his schizophrenia diagnosis from April 2024. A psychiatrist testifies he believed his family was against him. His escape attempt of kicking a wall during his investigation shows instability, she claims. Eduardo scoffs. He knew what he did. Social media posts show 80% of 80,000 votes reject the defense. Tijeras debates. Can mental illness excuse this horror? The courtroom tenses. Will Adlai walk free? The case grips the nation. KOB4's July 2025 special, showing bodycam footage, draws 2 million viewers. Dateline plans trial coverage. Tijeras splits over Adlai's fate. Social media posts hit 90,000 votes. 75% demand conviction. He's a killer, a neighbor posts on X. Others, citing his mental health, urge treatment. He was sick. A Reddit thread with 150 votes debates his rants. Vigils for Bertha, Raymundo, and Brielle draw 400, their faces on posters. Bertha saved my son, a mother says. Misinformation, like claims of a cult, is debunked. The Ravine becomes a memorial site, flowers piling up. Tijeras grapples, justice or mercy. Eduardo faces life without the Mestres. Bertha's soup, Ray's laughs gone, he says, clutching Brielle's painting. The Carrie Tingley Scholarship in their name raises $10,000. Vigils continue. 600 attendees honoring Luna 2. Social media posts show 85,000 likes for Eduardo's strength. Brielle's art lives, a teacher says. Tijeras strengthens neighborhood watches, fearing hidden threats. The Ravine, now a memorial, holds their memory. Can Eduardo find peace amidst such loss? Adlai Mestre faces indictment by a grand jury on 3 counts of first-degree murder, plus charges of evidence tampering and animal cruelty, but questions persist. Why did Adlai turn on his family? The Mestre's warmth, Bertha's nursing, Raymundo's generosity, Brielle's art, endures in Tijeras. A memorial garden opens at Tijeras Library, funded by over 200,000 social media likes. The Ravine, once a hiking ground, now holds flowers. Eduardo vows to keep their memory alive. Tijeras heals, but scars remain. What does justice mean for a family erased? Bertha, Raymundo, Brielle, and Luna, erased in a brutal act with only the eldest daughter Nancy Mestre surviving, because she wasn't living in the house at that time. Adlai Mestre, indicted by the grand jury, but Tijeras' heart aches. Eduardo's words linger. They were my family. A town mourns, planting flowers where bodies fell. Social media posts demand truth, but mysteries remain. Share this story to honor the Mestres. It might spark change. Like, comment your thoughts on justice, and subscribe to get more proceedings from this case, and for more true crime. Visit rain.org for support. Stay vigilant, stay compassionate, truth endures.